All right, hello, welcome to area and circumference. Today you will utilize formulas for the area and circumference of a circle. Nothing too difficult, you should be able to do this fairly easy. I'm sure y'all remember these formulas, but how can I make this a little bit more like in-depth, not just straight plug it in? Well, let's see. Okay, so first off, we want to make sure that we know the area formulas and the circumference formulas. The area formula is, again, pi r squared, and the circumference formula is 2 pi r, or diameter times pi. Now, keep in mind, both of those are the same. They're not really different formulas because, again, the diameter is equal to 2r. So that 2 and that r are equal to the d. So it's basically the same thing. So you can use either one, but you can only do that in circumference. Remember, on area, you have to use the radius. So like if you look at number 1, we have the radius there. Number 2, notice we don't have the radius. We have to say divide by 2. So 18 divided by 2 gets me 9, and that's the radius. So like even on number 4, you would have to divide that one by 2 to get the radius. So here I would say, okay, pi r squared. So I'm going to find the area because notice on numbers 1 through 4 I'm doing area. So pi r squared. And 5 through 8 I'm supposed to be doing circumference. So always make sure you read the directions. Yeah. Alright. So here this is 144 pi. And then this would be, so that would be in terms of pi. So notice what I'm doing there. If I were to ask for the answer in terms of pi, you would just do the 12 squared part. Okay? So you wouldn't have to do the whole multiplying out or anything like that. Now, if they did ask for answers in terms of nearest hundredth or whatever, then you go ahead and multiply by pi to get 452.39 meters squared, or square meters. Okay, so no different than on number 2. I would first, though, divide the diameter by 2 to get 9, and then say pi times 9 squared, which would be, and again, you got to make sure when you see diameters on area, you got to divide by 2. So on circumference, you don't, but area you do. So that gives me 81 pi. Again, that's in terms of pi. So notice, when I do the terms in pi, all I'm doing is squaring the number, and that's it. Then if I wanted to, so I don't try to do this in all one big shot, I guess, or type it all into the calculator all at once. So I do the 9 squared, I get 81 pi, and then I would say here 81 pi times, or 81 times pi, get 254.47 in square inches. Now again, the only reason I'm mentioning this to y'all is that sometimes you will have some teachers that would ask for it in terms of pi, or they could ask for it in decimals. Personally, I don't mind either way. So you could give me the answers in either format, and I would probably be okay. Well, not that I probably would be okay. I would be okay. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, so let's look at circumference now. So again, if you look at number 5, you've got and so yeah, I'm making note here that I want area on those and circumference on these others. So I'm going to change the color. But if you look here on number 5, I saw the radius was 7. The radius there is 7. They give you a radius. So if they give me a radius, I'm going to use 2 pi r. So 2 times pi times the radius of 7. Now, if you want this in terms of pi, all you got to do is 2 times 7, and that's 14. And put a little pi on the end. Okay? If I ask for the decimal answer, then, well, you got to say 14 pi to get 43.98 millimeters. And that's not square millimeters, that's just millimeters. Alright, so that's that for that one. That's all you got to do. Now, let's look at number 7. Okay, on number 7, this right here, this 58 is your diameter. So you could use the diameter times pi formula instead of 2 times the radius. So again, keep in mind, with circumference, you got a little bit of flexibility. So you put here 58 pi, and guess what? You already have it in terms of pi. That's it. Now, if you went ahead and multiplied that out and said 58 times pi, yes, you could get 182. I guess I got to make my squiggly equals again. Squiggly. 182 0.21, and this is yards. So that's it. And there you go. So either one of these two can be considered an answer. And like I said, I would probably take either one right now because I'm not going to be specific and say you got to give it to me in terms of pi or in terms of whatever. All right, so now let's go to the slightly more interesting part. Okay, so let's look at this type of question starting at number 9. Find the diameter of the circle with a circumference of 65.97. Okay, so right there they tell me circumference and they want me to find the diameter. So, since that's the case, I would do circumference diameter times pi. I mean, you could have did 2 pi r, but this would have been easier. Okay, this is the circumference, so I'm going to put this 65.97 0.97 and put diameter times pi. Now, keep in mind, like when you say something like 2x is equal to 14 and you divide by 2, keep in mind pi is a number. It is approximately 3.14. So you can divide, let's try that again. You can divide by pi. Treat it like a number. Okay? And that will give you the diameter. Okay? So if you type in 65.97 divided by pi, you'll get 20. Okay, since I put in pi exact, like put the pi symbol into my calculator, I got 20.9989. So that's going to round that up. That's going to round that up. That's going to round up to about 21. So I'm just going to put 21 here meters. Okay, and there's my diameter. Fairly easy. Again, now if they gave you the radius, and let's look at one with the radius. Okay, so here, like, they want you to find the radius of a circle, circumference 35 pi yards. Look, if they ask you for the radius period, so like here, I'm saying circumference is equal to 2 pi r. I can divide by 2 pi to get into the circumference to get the radius. Okay, now in this case, let's go back a bit. I'm going to put 35 pi. This is actually a fairly easy question. 35 pi, 2 pi r. So yeah, I'm going to divide by 2 pi. It's nice when they have the pi in here, like in terms of pi, because these cancel out. So really I'm just saying 35 divided by 2, so the radius here is 17.5 yards. Okay, so you can see here how you can kind of work those. Now again, if y'all have questions on these, I'm more than happy to answer those later. All right, so now look at 13. Find the diameter. They give you the area. So this right here tells me I'm going to use area is equal to pi r squared. Notice how I'm writing the whole thing out. 615.75 goes in place of the A, the area, because it's the area. Pi r squared. Now this one takes 2 steps. You've got to divide by pi. That will give you the radius squared. Okay, so when you divide by pi, you should get something that's fairly close. Let me see here, 615.75 divided by pi. Should get like in my case, I get something like 195.9999999. So I'm going to round that off to 196. Okay, take the square root of that. And because again, to get rid of a square, you got to take the square root. So I'm taking the square root, and you should get 14. Now again, that's the radius. That would be the radius. They want the diameter. So make sure you realize what's the question asking for, because I need to double that to get the diameter in my final answer. So I had to find this one in terms of radius because that's all I had in the formula. And then once I found the radius, I could easily find the diameter. So that one takes a little extra work, but nothing too difficult. Now come the fun type of questions. I say that in such an interesting way, but in these type of questions, they want you to say, start answering these in terms of like finding them in terms of like going back and finding one, like using the area of something to find the circumference, or find the circumference to use to find the area. In other words, you go down to the radius, and then from there you build back up. Okay, so like here, find the area of a circle with a circumference of 26 pi feet. So here they're telling me I've got a circumference. So circumference, again, I'll put here circumference is equal to, since this is the area, I'm going to work with radius. So 2 pi r. Because if it's the circumference, or if I'm going to the radius, I need to find the, if I'm going to the area, I need to find the radius anyway. If I'm working with area, I need radius. So that's why I'm going to use this formula. So I'm going to put here 26 pi is equal to 2 pi r. Again, treat that as one number, so I'm going to divide by 2 pi. 2 pi. That cancels out. 26 divided by 2, my radius is 13. Okay, so now I can use that to help me find the area, pi r squared. Okay, so area is equal to pi times 13 squared. And then that means that that is equal to 169 pi square feet. So I'll put here feet squared. And since it's like, since they did this one in terms of pi, I would probably say that should be the final answer. But just in case, I'll go ahead and tell you that if you multiply 169 times pi, you should get 530.93 square feet. So either answer I would probably take. Either one of these two answers right here. Okay, nothing fairly hard. Hopefully should be easy. Now, how about if I go the other way? How about if I give you an area and I want you to find the circumference? Okay, so again, area is equal to pi r squared. So I'm going to say 113.1 pi times radius squared. I've got to divide by pi. That gets rid of that. And that will give me that I should get an answer close to 36 for the radius squared. Take the square root. Radius is equal to 6. Okay, once I find the radius, notice how I'm kind of dividing this in two halves. Now I can say the circumference is equal to 2 pi times the radius. So circumference is equal to 2 pi times 6. That would be 12 pi. And then you could, if you want to, multiply that out to get 37. I keep forgetting my squiggly equals. 37.7 square inches. Oh, no, wait, that's circumference, so just inches. So I could have either one of these two as your answer. I would take either one. Okay, and that's really about it. Okay, so guys, that's all you really need to be able to do. Nothing too difficult. Let's see here. Okay, so I'll do this kind of a simple way for my CP classes problems. You're going to work on pages 3 and 4, both groups. But for my CP classes, you can do the odd problems. I have no idea how that was going to be a circle or an O. Odd problems, so like 1, 3, 5, 7, like that. And for the pre-AP, you can do all. Okay, but you're working on pages 3 and 4. And kind of go from there. Anyways, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for your time. As always, if you have questions, just go ahead and let me know. And, be safe, take care, and just do your best. Thank you. Take care.